Zionist in the nature, and she obviously internalized these dreams of her father of creating a socialist place where people will live in respect and equality, Jews and Arabs, and this is the left part of the Zionist movement. At least this is what they've been thinking about themselves, that they are left. And with these ideas and ideals, she joins the Jewish brigades, the Palmach, and she goes to fight against the British mandate to create the Jewish binational state. While doing this, she becomes the driver of one of the most vicious and known right-wing leaders, Rehavam Ze'ev Gandhi. He was assassinated by Zachariah's friend for being a right-wing anti-Palestinian. She becomes his driver, and she takes part in the ethnic cleansing of the south of Palestine. When she realized that the whole dream is not exactly what she's doing on the ground, she decides that something is wrong, and what helps her to make the last decision, she comes back home, she meets her sister Mia, who comes from taking part in a massacre in Beersheba. It's a town in the south, killing almost 200 Palestinians in a mosque. And Mia tells her in a very proud way that how they succeeded in this massacre to make about 20 or 25,000 Palestinians flee. My mother obviously shocked, and she decides to leave the special forces, and she starts to look for dialogue with the indigenous population, with the Palestinians. And in these meetings, one of the meetings, she meets my father. He's a handsome, dark Arab, and she's a beautiful blonde woman, and they obviously fell in love.
She was Jewish.
She was Jewish.
Yes.
Yeah, she's coming from Jewish. They fell in love, and they get married, and this is a big scandal. A Jewish woman, the daughter of one of the biggest leaders of the Galilee, Professor Mer from Rosh Pina, ex-Jewish brigades woman, marries an Arab and a communist. Big scandal. She is expelled from Rosh Pina. Her father, family disconnect the connection. 20 years she didn't see her father. A socialist father. Yeah? Imagine the hypocrisy of humanity. She goes to live with my father, and obviously she becomes an activist for the liberation of Palestine from the British mandate, and then from the Israeli occupation, and then against the Lebanese war, where Israel was taking part in. And in '88, she during these first days in the 50s, she educated herself to become a therapist through arts. But she was banned to teach in Jewish Israeli schools because she was married to communist Arab Christian Palestinian. 20 years she's out of work. She worked in construction as a black worker. And then in '88 she joins with her crafts. She comes here to Jenin. As I told you before, she just go up here on the streets. She had some papers, some pencils. She's bare feet, blonde woman, with big white jalabia, which is a big white dress, looks like a pyjama in a mental hospital. And everybody looks at this strange woman who has very heavy Israeli accent in her Arabic. Gathering all these kids around her and singing and talking, and slowly, day by day, they get to trust her, and they invite her for coffee. And then Zachariah's mother, which I'll tell you about him later, she invites her to have a coffee, and then she offers her house, and then she offers her roof, and the project flourishes, and we have centers in each neighborhood, and kids, they come and can practice music and painting and studying, reading and writing. You know, because the official system collapsed. The first Intifada was led by children with stones, but backed with the politics or the backing of The intellectuals, the teachers, most of them were in jail, curfews, sieges, the official educational system collapses, and she creates this underground system. Then she receives a big prize, the Nobel Alternative Prize. She gets some money. All these days I was working with her part-time. I was busy with my own career in Israel. I was an Israeli actor on the Jewish-Israeli stage. But I was doing drama therapy, coming here, you know, very interesting, helping the Palestinians. It was nice and consciously very politically correct. And then she gets the money and she offers me to take over the theater. And we built this small theater. I succeeded to gather a nice group of people. And we do very good shows, we go around. And then she dies and the whole project just collapses after her death. And I succeeded to hold the theater another few years, but I was also busy with my own stuff. And then I decided that this is it. And then the Oslo agreements, there was agreements with the Palestinian Authority, and I don't like authorities, any kind.
I don't like.
Exactly. So, and I said, once you have an authority, you don't need us. We go do in other places where we are needed. And I leave. I close the theater. The group spreads around. One becomes a drama teacher. One of the girls, she's a doctor today. The other one leaves to Canada. And, you know, they spread around. And the boys, which have less opportunities in Palestine in sense of education and because they are being raised differently. Anyway, the boy stays here. And when the second intifada, the Al-Aqsa intifada, breaks out, all of them becomes the leaders, the local leaders of different groups. And all of them were killed during the big invasion. One of them commits a suicide attack in Khadera, killing 4 women and injuring, I think, 40 people. In this suicide attack, by an accident, my friend was there with the camera. And he shot it, the last seconds of this suicide attack. And he calls me and he says, look, I was lucky. Yeah, he said, what a luck. To have this footage, and you know people from the West Bank, maybe we can trace the people and do something. You know, I said, yeah, it sounds interesting. He comes to my house and I discovered that it's my Yusuf. He's the most talented, charming boy. And I call my producer and I say, look, you must see this. And she buys a camera. And I come to Jenin for the first time after 5 years between 1997 and 2002. I wasn't here. I come back. I smuggle from between the trees because it was all sieged by Israeli tanks. And I was lucky, happily, to meet Zakaria Zubeidi, the guy who his mother contributed the roof to build a small theater. He's the leader, one of the leaders of the resistance. Well, we are very happy to meet each other, and I was lucky to be sieged with them for 7 months, and I do this film, Anna's Children, following whatever happening, but slowly discovering that most of Anna's children are the people in the resistance. Unfortunately, many of them get killed in front of the camera, and the theater was destroyed physically. I go out, I start to screen this film, and the film creates a lot of opposition, controversy, especially in the Israeli society, and a process of divorce starts between me and my audience and Israel. I get a lot of phones from Jenin, from the world. Let's go do something. Let's rebuild it. Let's come back. Let's try. And we come back in 2006 and rebuild the Freedom Theater. And here we are.
Yeah. That's wonderful. That's wonderful.
Just met Yusuf suddenly.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
What are you feeling at this moment?
It's a long time I didn't, usually because you tell the story so many times in different ways, so you become disconnected from the information you are delivering. But today I really remembered